which is on Daybreak. Alrighty then, the final and deciding game of this best of 3 series and the losers round 6 between FXOz, he was FXOz, during the IPL4, and VileIllusion, who is now Quantic Illusion after Vile was absorbed into Quantic Gaming. So both players now playing for new teams. Oz was actually transferred from FXO to Fnatic, whereas VileIllusion's team was absorbed by Quantic and is thus on a new team that way. So very interesting. I noticed this in the first 2 games as well. Illusion getting his SCVs all in the very middle there, making certain that they're all mining from the middle patches. Don't know why exactly he does that, but quite an interesting little tidbit there. Illusion does put the supply depot out at the front again, as though he may be walling off for some sort of 1-1-1 build. Last time he did that, he did make Cloaked Banshees and then followed it up with Thors, which was quite interesting. Oz does put down his pylon. Last time I thought he was going to go for some sort of Nexus first. He did not. In fact, he put down a gateway and a assimilator at practically the same time. And the barracks going down for Illusion. Let's see whether or not... Yep, he is going to get gas on 13 again. Very similar to the way he played the first 2 games. Oz once again has queued up probes as though he's going to go for a Nexus first build again. And the waypoint is set to the natural. It does look like he may do it, although his probe is in the main and does see no 1-racks FE. He does see gas taken, he does see the wall off, and he once again does exactly the same thing. He throws down a gateway, an assimilator, and a pylon in response to what Illusion is doing. It's a very interesting reactive play. Going for the Nexus first and then deciding not to when he scouts his opponent. He scouted every single time at the same time with the knowledge that he'll get in, and at the very least he will see the wall off. A lot of Terrans don't like to wall off unless they are going for some sort of heavy one-base play. That's because of the fact that Void Rays and Stalkers can take pot shots, especially early game, at those supply depots, and those supply depots can be quite important supply-wise, as well as any sort of early defense. So a second gateway going down, Cybernetics core also on the way, and another assimilator going down. Again, very similar to what we saw out of FXOz just last game. And the supply depot going down to complete the wall off, the reactor going down for the barracks, and the factory also. So it looks like VileIllusion going back to what he did the first game, which was reactored Hellions. He followed that up by getting the crap kicked out of him by a Stalker 2 Zealot push. But he was able to stabilize and actually win that game. And there goes the Warp Gate technology for FXOz. And the Chrono Boost being spent on a Stalker as well as on the Nexus. In fact, he Chrono Boosted it. He liked it so much he Chrono Boosted it twice. And there's the liftoff and the factory. Oh, misplaced factory. I hate it when that happens. And yep, there goes the factory. A starport also going down, and make it a tech lab. Make it a tech lab. Oh, make it a tech lab. Nope. Okay, never mind. The bunker at the front for VileIllusion. Looks like he's going to be trying to, again, the one-base play. And Oz, again, with the probe scout at just the right time to see that. This SCV just chilling on the corner, on the edge of this cliff here. He could fall down into space, but he's okay. And Oz does happen to know that it's one-base play coming, and he is going to expand now. 2 Stalkers, or 2 Sentries and a Zealot. I do get Stalkers and Sentries confused, apparently. And there's the Tech Lab, a medevac coming out. We're going to see a medevac drop of 4 Hellions, and then we're... Well, we may not, but the timing lines up that the medevac's going to pop, the Tech Lab's going to be done. We could see even a Banshee follow-up. Yes, we are going to see... Well, it could be a Raven. You never know. Illusion actually made a Raven, that never-seen unit in TVPs, or any games with Terrans, really. And there's Cloak, and yes, it is going to be a Banshee follow-up. The Hellions do show themselves. The Stalker focus firing down that one Hellion. It is going to get away with 10 HP, and the Stalker is going to die without them taking out a single Hellion. And he did hide the medevac. He did an excellent job hiding the medevac. It just looks like there are 4 Hellions out on the field. You have no idea that there's actually a medevac out there. Ooh, very well played by Illusion to keep the medevac out of range, scouting range. There are 2 Stalkers in the main, though. I think that Oz does have an idea that it could be medevacs, or maybe just Banshees. And there's the force field, and the pickup right there. Nice force field to keep the Hellions from escaping or running around to take out probes. But a solid job by VileIllusion to pick up right away and get out of there. He is going to scout, though, now. And the Observer is out. We do see 3 gateways and the robotics facility. Last time, Oz went for Twilight Council and heavy gateway play off of this. Be interesting to see. Again, Cloak is going to finish, and one Banshee is already out, and it's going to reach the natural about the same time that Cloak finishes, and there are no observers around right now. And there's the Cloak, 2 probes. And a sentry's going to go down as well. There it is. Where is the Observer? The Observer's nowhere to be seen, and the Observer just popped out. Great timing right there. And that Banshee's going to try and get away. It's probably not going to get away. Does it go down? No, it doesn't. It just barely escapes with 30 HP. Another Banshee on its way. This proxy pylon on the upper left-hand corner is going to be very important should Oz try and put any 2-base pressure on, especially if he starts adding a couple gateways. He is having to play very, very defensive with the threat of a Hellion drop and the Banshees. He's got Stalkers positioned around his mineral line. He's even got 2 sentries and a Zealot there, just kind of randomly at the edge of his base to make certain there are no drops. And that Banshee sees the Stalkers and runs away after taking 1 shot at the pylon. And siege tanks are being built now too. Siege mode is done. Here comes the expansion as well. Another Banshee coming out. This time we don't see any Thors. It's going straight to siege tanks and a bunch of Marines. As I left the timing bar thing open. Darn it. So here we go. There's the Twilight Council, which gets cancelled, and the Robo Bay goes down. Very interesting choice right there. +1 armor is being researched. He went from going for the Twilight Council, it had just started, and then decided to go for the Robotics Bay. So both Banshees still alive. All of the Hellions also alive. This Banshee is in some dire straits. It's going to cloak. Interesting to see if he tries to just get out of here, or if he gets some good scouting information, though. I think he may have actually seen... He did see... Ooh, he did see the Robotics Bay, but did he click on it? It just looks like a thing warping in if you don't click on it when it's not done. So it'll be interesting to see. Again, I like to say interesting. Whether or not Illusion can do something about that, whether he saw that, and whether or not he is able to react to it. No, he's still making more Banshees, although Banshees do a pretty solid job against Colossus. They don't have the range, but they still, in a pinch, can handle Colossus. So +1 research, +1 armor is about to be done. Extended thermal lances on the way. Here comes the first Colossus, and 2 more gateways. That makes 5 gateways as Oz moves out to take his watchtower, and a 3rd is going down for VileIllusion. He's still making some siege tanks, and it looks like he's going for mech play against the Protoss. He's making 2 factories and 2 reactors. Well, he's already made a reactor, and he's making another one. Here comes a big push. Marines, Banshees, a medevac, 3 Hellions? 3 Hellions? 4? Well, now there's 3 Hellions. I was just I'm actually a prophet. And a couple of Marines, or SCs, for good measure. And Oz is going to be pushed back here. He does not have the force to fight this. If he can get up the ramp, he can force field it. He's got to force field it. Solid force field. He does happen to catch the SCVs at the bottom of the ramp, but unable to kill it. Oh, wow. A bunch of Banshees just destroying everything. There is an observer in that army. And there we go, VileIllusion making his way up all the way, sieging up on the bottom of that ramp. And Oz is in a precarious position here, especially with the Banshees. They have practically free reign. That one observer is with the main army, which is at the natural. He's got to sneak around. Oh no, the robotics facility is going to go down before another Colossus can pop. Only two Colossus are out on the field. There is an Immortal out, but no Marauders. Oh boy. This is 7 gateways, though. And here come the bunkers, slowly but surely, with the Banshees, the Siege Tanks, and the bunkers. Illusion's going to push forward here. And again, going with the tech switch here to pure mech of Siege Tanks and Hellions. Very interesting. And Banshees are out of energy, though. They're taking potshots, trying to lead the army in. And there goes the... Wow, that Immortal went down quick. Here comes the attack from Oz. He decides to commit. He's doing what damage he can. He does not have extended thermal lance. Yes, he does. The Colossus, though, running to the fray there. I think they didn't have Colossus, the extended thermal lance at first, and they had to run right into the battle, losing one and taking a solid amount of shield damage on the other. Oz does hold off, though, does take out the majority of the Hellions as well as a lot of Marines, and the third is on the way for VileIllusion. He has taken an excellent do you not have extended? You have extended thermal lance. I wonder. Nice stance micro there by Oz to take out a couple of Marines, but oh boy, that's a lot of Hellions. That is what you would call a ton of Hellions. Another Banshee out. There are a bunch of Siege Tank shots. Ouch. And now he decides to commit. The Immortal taking the brunt of it, but the Immortal's about to go down. Focus fire on that Immortal, on the Siege Tanks. Wow, the Immortal is still alive there. It really was Immortal. And Oz has repelled the attack. A lot of Hellions hurt. Only 2 Siege Tanks left. I think Oz has finally broken the front. He did again lose that robotics facility, but the Immortals have not kept coming. He needs those Immortals to take those tank shots, and as well as take them out. A bunch of Hellions here at the third of Oz, but the third has only just started. 4 Hellions and a Siege Tank taking out the proxy pylon. Another proxy pylon there. The Observer at the front of the base. Meanwhile, Illusion making Siege Tanks, Hellions, Siege Tanks, and more Hellions, and another factory. Very interesting strategy here. He has a whole lot of minerals saved up here. He can't spend it all on all those Hellions. And the medevac, wow, the medevac spotting for the Siege Tanks there. Oh, Oz, though, is not fooled. He does have to keep his units lit. This is just like playing a Terran who likes to play bio and likes to drop a lot. You keep your army split on 2 different hotkeys to defend different areas. He's got this army here. He's got this army here. Here comes the force fields. No, they do take out 1 or 2 Hellions, but don't trap any. But the Hellions are forced to retreat with those force fields. And slowly but surely, though, the Siege Tanks are encroaching. And again, Oz doesn't really have anything to battle against it. He is going to swing around from the backside, though. Oh, is he going to go for it? He's taking shots from a couple of Siege Tanks. He's going to take he's going to take the watchtower and take a couple shots. And Illusion is having none of that. He's going to circle back around, and it looks like he's worried about some sort of base trade. He does keep a couple of Siege Tanks in front, though. Charge has finished for FXOz. He also has 1-1 upgrades done. Illusion has none of those done. The Siege Tanks still getting ripped to shreds by the Zealots, and the Siege Tank line is broken for VileIllusion as he retreats back home. And a couple of Zealots have made their way to the third, but they don't do any damage as Illusion retreating and taking them out really quickly. He did lose his Siege Contain at the front. Both players now at 3 bases apiece, although Oz has only just gotten up. A lot of Immortals coming out onto the field. No more Immortals, though, coming. That's interesting. +2 weapons is on the way. Blink also being researched. A Templar Archives going down. Here's a big engagement here. Siege Tanks at the back have sieged up. A lot of Hellions. That's just too many Hellions. I don't care what you say about their damage. That's way too many Hellions. Although the Immortals just eat through mech like it was nothing. That's one of the major reasons why I think, I'm not absolutely certain, I do play Terran, But I think that's one of the major reasons why a lot of Terrans don't mech against Protoss, is just because just a couple of Immortals do so much damage for, well, I don't want to say for so little cost, but they do so much damage. Not to mention the fact that that Hellions are supposed to counter or do well against Zealots, and when Zealots get charged, it becomes a real wash between Hellions and Zealots. Wow. 2 more orbital commands going down for Illusion. It looks like he's going to start maybe sacking SCVs already. And a bunch of siege tanks siege up. Oh, Ghosts out on the field. Oh, good play. The Ghosts probably will start EMPing. I don't know why he EMP'd there. Oh, he's trying to take out the Observer. He does. And his Hellions are committing mutiny as they try and kill off the siege tank. They do not, though. Illusion gives them a firm slap on the wrist and says, no, bad Hellions. So a bunch of... What are they shooting at? I don't know what they're shooting at. So, ooh, wrong button. So VileIllusion with the command center floating to his 4th. Oz has also taken his 4th. Both players really have decided to go for a bit of a macro game here, defending at each side of the map. It looks like Illusion trying to EMP observers. Interesting. You can't EMP anything cloaked, and it will reveal itself for a while. So 4 Templars all out. They do have Storm. Storm is almost done. Immortals on the way. +2, +1, +3 weapons is on the way. And there you go. More Immortals coming out as well. Here comes a big, massive army of siege tanks and Hellions. And a Banshee and a couple of Ghosts as well. The Ghosts are going to have to really get some really nice EMPs. The Storm's not so big of a deal. Well, maybe on the Hellions, but still not as big of a deal. It's going to be the Immortals that you really have to take their shields down. There's the big siege by Illusion. There's the Storm on the Hellions. You just kind of sit there. They do take half damage, though. It'll be really interesting to see. No nuclear missiles are out, so the Ghosts won't be nuking. And Illusion taking advantage of that area there. It's very hard for Zealots or even Stalkers to get around and get into that. They have really good range from there. Slowly pushing forward, and here we go. Oh, a bunch of sentries go down. A Storm on top of those siege tanks do take it out. EMPs go down, but don't hit too much. Only about 3 or 4 Immortals without energy. The Zealot or the Templar all still do have energy, but the Hellions, there are just too many blue flame Hellions. There's too many. They run right through any sort of defenses at the 3rd, or excuse me, at the 4th of Oz. They take out all of the probes, including the Banshee. Although that left the siege tanks very vulnerable. The Immortals push their way through, as do the Archons. And now it is Immortals versus Hellions in the back here. A couple of siege tanks do still live, though. That Archon is doing work, taking them all out. But too many Hellions, still too many Hellions, as they all get taken out. And 2 siege tanks do remain. Now there's only Stalkers, 5 Stalkers at the front. There is a cloaked Banshee who has 3 kills, doing a good amount of damage. Nice spread right there by Oz using Blink Micro to do what he can. It's the siege tanks, though. Blinking on top, though, that's the problem with all the splash damage. And the siege tank does siege up. A cannon at the 3rd. Ooh, here comes some High Templar to merge into Archons. And a cannon is going to do what it can to keep the Hellions out here. That Immortal is going to walk right into the fray and get taken out very quickly. Again, with those 2 siege tanks, they have range to hit a lot over here. 1 siege tank goes down. More Zealots trying to chew their way through Hellions. Here come the probes. Probes don't do well against blue frame Hellions. These Stalkers still fighting, but there's the GG in caps from FXOz. He just did not have enough to deal with the massive amounts of Hellions. The great siege tank positioning here also did a really good job, despite Illusion being caught out of position. And Illusion, the North American Terran, takes down FXOz, the Korean Protoss, in IPL4 in the losers round. And that's it for Oz. Oz is out of the tournament. Really well played by Illusion. Really interesting. He went mech. Well, the second game was I don't know what the second game was. It felt like it failed 2 base all in with Thors. But VileIllusion actually went mech in Game 3, and it worked. He also threw in the Ghosts to take out the Immortal's shields, which is a really smart play. It didn't seem like he hit a lot of EMPs on those Immortals, but he just had massive, massive amounts of Hellions, too many for Oz to handle. Great job expanding, putting the pressure on with the mech build by VileIllusion. Really impressed with that play. Very interesting Banshee mech play from VileIllusion.